Hello and welcome back to the 10 Pint Podcast. Today, we're here as normal with Beefham.
Right.
And me, Luke. And we're here with the Mysterines. We have Paul and we have George.
Hello, lads.
All right.
So normally we take it back to the start. I'll just first get into music.
Beatles rock band. Actually, that's what got me into wanting to do this. I was just sold on that.
Yeah, I went to... My dad used to take me to Cavern, so Beatles themed.
Yeah.
I used to go to Cavern with my dad all the time, and that was the first time that I saw live music. But my dad plays guitar as well, so it was always
My dad's a massive well, he's not a musician at all, but he's a music fan at least. And from that, sort of got us into it. And Beatles rock band was the thing that wanted to make me an actual musician.
Yeah, I think just seeing people play live was the thing that made me want to do it. But yeah, it was always around the house, my sisters and that. Was my sister's a good singer and stuff like that, so I think that was where it all came from.
Who did you see live then? That sort of
it was all cover bands and that, playing really shitty 60s covers. But yeah, there was no one cool or anything like that. It was all just our fellas just playing all over Beethoven and stuff like that. But it's what got me into music, so can't knock it too much.
So how old are you then? And when did you actually form the band? I think we were talking earlier. You only recently joined in January.
I'm a newbie.
Yeah, I started in the Mysteries when I was 14, I think.
And, 14.
Yeah. And I'm 19 now, and I will.
21.
21. Yeah.
But yeah, I only joined in January. I've been in bands from similar age. I was 14 when I started my first band, but I've only been in the Mysterines for 6 months now.
Yeah.
So not known each other that long, but it's
I only really met you in January.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah. We met in Jimmy's and then we were on tour
4 weeks later.
4 weeks later, yeah. It was quite intense really, but yeah. Good though, it was good way of just getting straight into it.
Yeah.
I suppose.
So how did that come about, the change from going from a 3-piece to a 4-piece now?
Sort of a good question. Well, we met Callum and Paul at a psychedelic porn crumpets gig.
Sorry, can you repeat that again?
It's like a live sex show. That's not really.
I'll say where it was.
They're an Australian mad psych band, and we went on tour with them early last year. And I kept looking at Callum thinking he was someone else, and he started walking over to me, and I was about, shit, I've been looking at him for a bit too long now. And he was like, oh, you're in the Mysterines, aren't you? And then from there, Callum started speaking to Leah a bit more. Paul got involved in the band first, though.
Yeah.
And then we were
that was in the summer though, so I didn't actually join until January. So
there was a big gap between
we met we actually met.
It was February.
We met the date that I Win Every Time came out this year. Which is weird.
Oh yeah, that's what was dead weird.
Yeah.
So March time last year, and then our first single came out with these in the band on the same day that we met them.
Yeah, so we'd known each other for a little bit. Well, I knew Leah more than I knew you.
Yeah, definitely.
And then at the beginning of this year, Leah asked me to join, and then we had a practice, and then I think it just kind of made sense. If we were already changing members, they wanted to beef it up a little bit, so we got Callum in on guitar. And me and Callum have been playing music together for since we were 11. In fact, he was in the first band that I was in. We were called Red Rock Blues. And we were just a school band, just playing Arctic Monkeys covers and that. So I think when it was just they were already making a change, it just kind of made sense for it to be a 4-piece.
You say Arctic Monkeys sort of, because you obviously got the 90s, you got your Oasis, the Stone Roses and that. Did you say they influenced the band?
Probably, yeah.
I'd say definitely myself personally.
Yeah.
Writing wise for Leah, maybe not, but she definitely used to her dad, and then especially I was definitely into Oasis.
Yeah.
And my dad especially as well. Was a massive Oasis fan. He actually went to what's it called?
Main Road. Nebworth.
Yeah, Nebworth. Yeah, my dad went to Nebworth. Yeah.
Yeah, they were kind of the band that were everyone was obsessed with when I was in school. Everyone thought it was cool to love the Arctics, and I think me and Callum were those people as well. We just like used to just like play all their tunes at like 1,000,000 miles an hour. So I think like with that, I don't really listen to them that much anymore. But I think like growing up, they were definitely like a big band to big
In our
influence.
school,
Like.
you didn't really get many, like, no one's really into music, you know, in our school.
Yeah, it was kind of like that in our school.
same.
Like there was kind of like I didn't actually like doing music in school because the music department was a bit shit. But like it wasn't like cool to like listen to the Beatles. I got fucking tethered for it like on a daily
Oh,
basis.
same.
People used to just like I remember there was one lad that came over to me. He was like, "Show us what you're listening to." I was listening to Lady Madonna by the Beatles, and he just laughed at me, and it was just like that was it. Now
I remember being called a mosher for liking the Beatles.
yeah, it's weird, but like now everyone who used to take the piss out of me for it loves the music now. It's just like one of them things, and people just kind of
Grow into it.
grow into it. At
Mature
different
mind.
times. Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, it's like an age thing, isn't it? I think we only started getting into it at about
16,
16, 17, something like that.
Yeah,
Like we're
happens
19
stuff,
now.
doesn't it? Like just it's one of them, innit? Like I wanted to be a footy player before I wanted to be a musician.
Yeah,
and then
you wanted, didn't you?
yeah, and then but like it wasn't like I was music wasn't always like my number one thing. I was like once I realised I couldn't play footy, I was like, oh shit, I've got to do something else. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's just one of them.
What
innit?
else makes money?
Who's your support?
Yeah, well, not being a musician, actually. Yeah.
What was that? Sorry,
Who's your support?
Everton.
Nah, it's right.
the way.
Yeah.
Red. Liverpool.
Nah.
You both blues, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, he's right. He's right.
He's just had to put up with us like the whole week recording.
Yeah,
Like,
we were in London last week, so we were away thankfully when they lifted the trophy. And I was like proper bit. Yeah, I was proper bitter about it.
You
Like
went
when
outside
I went
and
outside for the
everything.
bifter when they lifted the trophy. That's how far I took it. But yeah, it was nice to be away from it, really, because I am
I
quite
was
bitter.
proper disappointed. Like, London was just so dead.
Yeah.
Surrounded by Chelsea fans and that. It was like,
Yeah.
Where
Nice
would
to be
you-
away.
Talking of London and that, where would you say like the best places? Obviously you're probably quite supported in Liverpool and stuff. Where would you say like most of your like fans, so to speak, like are from? Apart from you.
London. To be
Yeah.
fair, like, it's been a weird one for Liverpool. We've had phases where like it's taken so long to kind of get like a bit like a recognisable like crowd in Liverpool, because when we were starting off, I think with our age and like the people that we were like in with, like, do you remember about like Joe Mary?
I've never heard of them.
No, but like we were in with them for like quite a while, and then like for like the low level like Liverpool, like
Yeah.
seeing like everyone like loved them really, didn't they? And,
Yeah.
and like there are a few like sort of bands like that, and we just sort of got like brushed away for a while, went away, came back, and then that's when it sort of like it took us like about 4 years really to really gain a proper momentum in
It's
Liverpool.
weird you say that though, because
Yeah.
I always just presumed that like you always were smashing it. Because whenever I heard the Mysterines, it was just like sell out every single time. I didn't think about the time like before that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But-
yeah, it was work. Like
London in that tour
London,
though,
no,
was a
yeah.
joke. It was like, well, it was meant to be a different venue on it, and then it got
the
upgraded.
Lexington, it was meant to be, and then
Yeah.
it got moved to the Dome.
Yeah, which is it kind of looked like a school
gym.
sport hall, but it was just like it was like 500 heads, and it was fucking mad. Like it was ridiculous. I'd never played a gig like to that scale before, so like, and it to be in London as well, it was a bit weird, but it was sick though.
That was the best night of the tour, I reckon,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
for a show. Like,
Yeah.
went off, apart from me knocking me bass amp off its like stand. I didn't realise for about 3 tunes until someone actually grabbed me and was like, your bass amp's on the floor.
No, there was a few on that tour though. I think what was the Manchester one was good as well.
Yeah.
Manchester. To be fair, like the whole tour was sold out, so everywhere was
Crammed, like
everywhere was pretty decent.
sweaty gigs.
But those were the three. We were quite lucky. We did Manchester, Liverpool, and London like all in a row. They were like 3 consecutive dates, so that was quite like and every single one of them gigs
So
were
done in after
so
London, weren't
yeah,
they?
it was a heavy night. It was, but they were like the standouts, I think.
We were talking about like the London music scene before, weren't we? It doesn't really seem that big, but then we spoke to like obviously using a few bands, and they've all said, apart from Liverpool, it is London where the majority of the fan base is.
Yeah, it's weird. I think loads of people say it's quite hard to like win a London crowd over because they just kind of think that it's going to just be up their own arse.
Yeah.
But it definitely wasn't the case And I thought that as well, but that definitely wasn't the case.
It was
With
like the
yous.
first time we ever went down there. We done a gig with a band called Peace at the London O'Meara, signed by like one of the fellas from Mumford and Sons, I think.
Yeah.
And like, you know, like we were all thinking, like, and we'd been like told by like people like managing us and stuff at the time as well, like don't be like that upset if like it's a bit harsh and a bit cold. But like it just went perfectly, and like we got like our like first like live agency like thing from that gig, and every time I've gone to London since, it's like the best receptions we get. Bit of like maybe a misconception maybe that London's quite harsh, or they just seem to like us. But,
Yeah, massive Mysterines fans.
Well, just say the harshest. Have you had any harsh gigs and everything
oh,
like that?
yeah, definitely. Paul, you probably haven't
Not
really with
not
us,
with,
have
not
you?
with yous, no, I'm quite lucky really. I have in like all bands, but not with yous.
Yeah, there's been like a few dates where like the crowd maybe have just been wanting that headliner, and we have gone on. I've seen someone check their watch and shake their head while we've been playing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it can be quite a why am I here?
I've just had more of like gigs where I've like my old band have like we've gone down to London and we've played to like 3 people. And it's just like just be arsed, you know what I
actually
mean?
there was one time in London actually where there was like was just no one.
Yeah. They're worse. I'd rather a room full of people who hated me than just play
Yeah,
to no
then
one.
just about 12.
At least you can pretend that you like people are asked about you
Just
then.
dead bad as well. It was like a straight home job as well. Like no, like fucking nowhere to stay afterwards. So got there, stayed for like an hour, played to 12 people, and went home.
You've obviously just mentioned Peace. Is anyone else? Who would you say like the best person you support, or even group?
Royal Blood actually. Yeah, that was like they had like catering teams and shit like that with them. It was surreal. Like the jump from like what we'd been doing at the time. At the time we were doing like a few like quite like intimate venues, like pubs and stuff around like places like Hull and like really like places like Exeter and stuff like that. And like the next thing, like we were on this tour, like these like, and these were small venues for them, and they were like 1,000 cap like every night. We were having like 3-course meals fed to us and shit. You're normally starving, like loving meal deals and that. But like, yeah, it was such like a weird week that.
I wasn't around, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I missed out on all this fun. I've still got to do all the meal deal shit. I don't have.
Yeah, you haven't really.
No, I haven't done any like support or anything like that, unfortunately.
But no, yeah, it was a surreal few days that like they were just lovely with us as well. And, like, yeah. What else have we done? Peace was actually a really good one. Like that was a really good like way to start, and they were dead nice with us as well. It was weird, like actually like, being around like a band that like you've heard of. There's like a few like as like just I remember them being in like on a poster in like a chippy by mine, and like the head like the name always sticking with me, and then like actually finding out you're doing a gig with someone that like people around you know, like you can tell your mates, like being like, hey, you're doing a gig with Peace, and it's like, whoa, Peace, and then like, but yeah, Royal Blood certainly. Amazons was that was a fun few weeks. That they were D-Mob happy with like the support band as well, and like they were fucking great lads. Yeah, it's just always if you're with like the right band, it'll be a laugh and like really successful at the same time. But it's quite hard sometimes to get that little balance. Actually, that psychedelic porn crumpets band were a laugh. They're just mad Aussies. And like
getting off the seedy shit.
Is anyone that's not so like? Obviously, you said that everyone's quite a laugh. You don't have to name any names here, like you can't even use one. But like,
there have been times like where it's been like, fucking, you're a bit of a arse, aren't you? Like, that was I haven't had that for quite a while. That was like first year of the band. Really, was the only time I've ever thought, wow, you're a prick. Like, but that hasn't really happened since.
You've just mentioned.
I'll behave.
You just mentioned the first year of band. Where was your first gig?
Hoylake Parade on the Wirral.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. It's like this like community centre. Used to be like I think it was like an all girls school in like the 60s, and yeah, that was really mad. I think I was about 14 at the time, and it was with like the guy who's like ended up managing us as band. Like we were supporting them. It was like their hometown show, and from there, like it was a sellout as well. Like about 400 people, and like well for us there was about 20. But no, like to actually just do that gig, and then eventually we've done a few festivals there as well. So like to always going back there's like just like a boss vibe, and like going past it's always like it was me nan's school as well. It's just like
I find it quite mad at 14 you were doing gigs and that, you know. What were you doing at 14?
Playing Xbox.
I know, exactly.
I was like lucky, like very lucky that I stumbled across Leah really, because I was in a few bands with her beforehand when we were just like proper kids, just doing covers of the Doors and stuff like that, like the way Paul was doing Arctic's covers. But like, yeah, Leah had done I think an open mic night and stumbled across Alf, who became our manager, and he like pushed the loads, and it just from there like we had a really good start for our age really, and we didn't do social media for ages as well, which I think for our age is actually a really good idea, because I wouldn't want to look back on cringy videos of me in practice when I'm 14. Like with me Fallout Boy tops on and shit.
Where does the name come from, the Mysterines?
Literally the mouthwash Listerine. Like, I think 'cause we practice in the same room as the Coral, and like our manager Alf is Jay's brother.
Yeah.
And we would try, like I wasn't in the band at this point, and it was Leah and the drummer that we had at the time, Zach, and they were speaking to Jay like, oh, how did you get your name? And it was like, oh, I think that was off Oral B, like the oral bit, and they changed it to Coral. And then as a joke, someone said Listerines, and then it was like the Mysterines, and by the time I joined, that was just set in concrete then. And same for you really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah, we had no say on the name whatsoever. We just sort of
That's the first time I've heard that story as well.
Really?
Yeah, didn't know that.
There you go. Learn something new every day.
I'm learning something too.
What was the first song you like released?
Released was Hormone. We did do a little practice demo like EP that we sold at Skeleton Coast Festival once.
Is that the one that was on eBay like a few months ago?
Yeah, we were selling them for £2. I went on eBay and they were going for 80 quid. It was mad.
Did someone buy it?
That's a different question.
Yeah. Still though, it's funny though.
But yeah, someone was trying to flog it for 80 quid on like this like mad, like I think it was on Reverb, you know, like the music like equipment selling site, yeah. But Hormone was the first thing that we actually released, and that was about, I think I'd been in the band for about 3 years at that point. I think I was about 16, 17 when that came out, and we were very happy with how it went and stuff. It was done on kind of like a budget as well, considering like no one is like signed us even still, like, so we haven't had like a full on like whack of like go to a studio and play with this money.
Yeah.
It was like literally go in a studio for a day, you have this much time, get it done. And then, but yeah, that was the first thing that we done. We had that on the books for about a year and a half before we even considered it. Like, but yeah, we worked with Jay Skelly on that one, again from the Coral in Parr Street, and he was our producer until
last week.
Yeah, last week. We decided like a little change of approach, but everything we've done until now has been Jay and Chris Taylor doing like the engineering and the production. Like,
Decent.
What did you say the meaning behind that was then? Or, who actually writes the song, sorry, first?
Leah does. But I think it was just, you know, just punky teenage angst vibe, you know, just trying to just get
Angry
something
at the
that,
world.
yeah, just like something that like people who like just we were trying to get like a younger like audience as well at the time, because for a lot of like them first years it was just like 40-year-old men who like were looking for a blast from the past, kind of thing, like coming down to our gigs. So I think like to release that one, it was the one that at the time connected with like a younger audience better than a lot of our other tunes did. It's only now really that we've learnt how to do like the mix of the rock and like the pop side and trying to get it to talk to everyone.
I think because Callum's joined now, Callum's a songwriter as well, and Leah and Callum have been writing together.
Yeah,
So like I think that's like changed the sound.
been an absolute blessing.
Yeah, it's changed the sound quite a bit. Like I think like the new stuff that we've just recorded in
Is a
London,
lot different.
it's
to-
like completely different. It would be interesting really because when we come back like gigging, the set will just be completely different to what it
it'll
was.
be like a year apart from when
Yeah.
we last gigged.
People might hate it. But
Yeah.
like, I prefer the old stuff.
Yeah, we might have already fucked it.
What would you say your favourite songs to play live is? Or favourites, if that's too hard.
Favourite? Take Control is always good because that's the one that people
Yeah.
like and enjoy, so that always goes off of it.
I can't remember any of the songs we played on that tour. There's a tune, it's a new one called The Bad Thing that we played on that tour, and there was like
That was good,
It
yeah.
was like a jam beforehand. It was quite like Queens of the Stone Age-esque. And
That
like,
was always good to
it
get
was-
into,
Yeah, that was a good tune. I liked Hormone though. Hormone, we always finish with that on that tour, and people still go nuts to
Bouncing
that
about,
tune.
yeah.
That was probably my favourite to play.
I'm trying to think of
that's
the
all.
ones that we did.
And I've completely forgot.
I liked playing Bet Your whenever we actually did.
Yeah, to be fair, like before I joined the band, I have to admit I didn't really like that song. But then, but then we played it live. And,
Yeah, playing it live is
and
a
I was like,
completely different.
"Fucking hell,
It's
it's boss."
a different beast.
Yeah, it was a boss tune. Yeah, that probably was my favourite actually. Think
Yeah,
about
now
it.
you mention it, I think Bet Your actually
Yeah,
is my Bet Your is my favourite to play. Bet Your Pretty Face.
So, do you know, with all this coronavirus and all this, has that like set back a lot of dates for you and stuff like that with festivals?
We've
and
missed out on a lot of stuff
Yeah.
this summer. We had some really cool like festivals like coming up
Yeah,
and like yeah. But we did get a lot of recording done
yeah. I think
instead.
like
So
when it first happened, I was like quite childish about it. And I was like, I've missed out on all these festivals.
yeah, same.
But then I think like in some ways it's kind of worked out better for us because that time off has enabled Callum and Leah to write basically a whole album full of
Yeah.
tunes, which we wouldn't have been able to do otherwise if we were gigging all the time. So I think in the long run it'll probably work in our favour, but like still a bit gutted that you're not playing
Yeah.
all the
like them
festivals.
summer festivals, especially with how hot it was. Oh,
Yeah, it would have been boss, but what can you do? It's one of them.
yeah.
Have you got... Sorry. go
the
on.
next year's going to be mad busy for you then.
Yeah, because everything's been moved to the exact same dates for next year, and there's going to be obviously other festivals coming about as well, or gigs, and got that tour in February.
Yeah.
But
I hope it's chocolate anyway, because
yeah, I
think,
can't
like,
wait. Yeah,
missed out on, so like I proper miss gigging.
yeah. To be
So-
fair, it's the main reason why I do this. Definitely.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll be chocolate anyway.
Oh, yeah. Let's hope that let's hope they like the new stuff next year's chocolate.
So what are the plans like? You just mentioned like you basically got an album of songs. It's like a completed album.
Not like
Nah.
no, it's like
We've got stuff that we would definitely like to put on an album, and Callum and Leo have written stuff that they believe definitely has potential for an album.
Yeah.
But even then, there'll be things culled and chopped and changed.
Yeah.
And songs that we think are done now will end up being piano versions or vice versa. In like piano versions of tunes will turn into band songs, and it'll do that for a good few months still.
definitely like on the course to writing the album, and like so hopefully before the end of the year. I don't want to. In fact, yeah, hopefully before the end of the year it'll be recorded. But who knows? It's because like the world's so weird at the moment
Yeah.
with all the coronavirus stuff.
Who knows
You
what's
never.
coming up again.
You never really,
Right.
you never really know. Like I wouldn't have thought that a month ago that we'd have been in London, like last week doing recordings. Do you know what I mean? So I don't really know, but the songs are getting sorted, and so hopefully it won't be too long before we've got an album
Yeah.
boxed.
That's the
That's,
aim.
that's the
the
aim.
goal.
That's the aim. Yeah.
How much is it to like produce and make an album? Like roughly.
A lot.
Yeah. I think like I try not to think about like all like the industry stuff. Well, we don't have to get involved in that.
Yeah,
because we've got
luckily.
managers. But yeah, I'd be lying if I said I knew how much it cost because I haven't got a clue. But it's a lot of money. Like that
Yeah, it's
you need someone else to pay for it, basically. Like,
Yeah,
we're not
yeah.
like me and George aren't chipping in to record an album. So,
all like all the gigging that literally we've been doing for like since the start is all like sort of in like there's been like bits like put to certain like traveling and like hotels, and then there's a bit for like recording, and all that like saving up still like just like makes to like recording sessions, and that it costs a fortune, like but it's worth it for a rocking anthem.
Do you prefer recording or playing live?
Playing live,
Yeah.
100%.
I do quite like. I some people like hate recording and love playing live, but I'm a bit like in between. There's not like it's a boss feeling when you like you've just like finished like miking all the drums up and you go into the live room and hear them for the first time. That's like I love that. Bloopers. I love that kind of thing, and I like me and Callum. Like we've spent so many hours just like talking about like the production on albums, stuff like that. We're like quite obsessive over like sonics and stuff like that. So I always enjoy like just like going a bit weird with stuff. But like playing live is definitely more fun. Like it's just you can have a bevy then as well.
Yeah. Yeah, just being half pissed and just doing whatever you like, and then
Yeah.
someone will find it cool.
Have you ever been like too pissed to like near play?
Let me try and remember. A few.
There was
I've
definitely
been very, very pissed on stage.
on that last tour. We all kind of got because the rider was quite like substantial, and there was the first date there was a bottle of whiskey, and I was just like, oh, I'm not touching that. And like by the end of it, we were all like pretty big fans of whiskey. So there's definitely a few like that London gig. I was a bit pissed before we went on, like, but I've never had that like
I done
oh
a
shit, I don't
gig
know
at
how that.
Brighton where there was a Spotify lounge and it was just free ale, and I was like, we were there like very early, like 8 hours till we had to go on. I was quite drunk then. I think that's probably the most drunk I've been on stage, but it went all right.
Yeah, I've never had. I don't trust myself. I think I'd panic too much if I was too blooded.
I did a bit that time, to be fair. I was a bit like, oof, I might be a bit too on edge, yeah. But normally it's alright to have a few drinks and stuff beforehand. If anything, it's better.
Therefore, we kept having like little shots of whiskey before we went on because like we did it one night and the gig was boss. So
It's
it
ritual
became
now.
like a bit of a tradition. It just kind of like fires it up a little bit, do you know what I mean? Like kind of lets loose a bit.
Yeah, like I wouldn't do half the stuff on stage that do. I don't reckon.
You get quite active on stage, don't
Yeah.
you? Yeah.
A crowd surfing at Jimmy's would not have happened. Absolutely rat-arsed.
Still get nervous before you go out.
Uh,
I don't want to sound like a tip, but no, not at
no,
all.
I don't. It's
I
quite
don't
like.
want to be like, no.
No, I don't. It's more like especially when you're playing to like crowds that we played on that last tour. It's more it's like excitement really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And, like-
definitely like an
Like we've
excitement.
both been doing this since we were kids as well. So like the first few gigs that we did, I was like a nervous wreck. But like now, like it's more just excitement really.
Yeah, after like I done that first show, so like the Holy Lake Parade when I was like 14. After that, like it just sort of like becomes like it's like, oh, I'm doing this again. So
Yeah.
then like but now I think even like the bigger like some crowds get, I think, but then again the drinking does definitely help before you go on, like,
Yeah.
but it does build the excitement at least, doesn't it?
Yeah, defo. It's probably more nerve-wracking playing smaller shows because you can see
Yeah.
everyone. I've always like had
Definitely.
a thing about playing in Liverpool because I know like me mum and dad are in the audience and that, and like my sisters who's like very critical and will tell me if I'm shit. Whereas if you play to London, no one knows who you are. So I think like Liverpool may be a bit more on edge than other dates, but like not so much like
Yeah, it's
shaking.
definitely
fully on.
easier playing to people that you don't know whatsoever than
Yeah.
people that you know that'll leave an actual impression on.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
What would you say the best piece of advice you've ever been given in terms of music?
That's tough.
Trying
Man.
to think of
Or
like
any like
wisdom.
figure? Not figure.
Well,
person,
me and
like-
Callum always talk about the music teacher in our school. He was called Mr. Sanderson, and he was like the fella who did the school band that me and Callum were in, and he was. I wouldn't say he was strict, but me and Callum were kind of like probably thought we were too cool to be in the school band once we got over like a certain age, but he was like quite like he'd like proper strict with us, like to make sure that we went and stuff like that. And like I don't think I'd be playing music if he hadn't been as strict. I think I would have just been away with the fairies and just kind of, you know, just done whatever. But he kind of was like, yeah, he pulled us up quite a fair few times. Me and Callum always say when we're bladdered, we just like, oh, we'll have to get Mr. Sanson down to a gig. As if he like, but I actually saw him not too long ago in the pub that I used to work in, and I was a bit pissed, and I said that, I was like, oh, wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't for you, sir. And he was just like, sound. not really hard. But yeah, I always had the like mindset as well, like I didn't really want to look back like at the age of like 14, think, oh, I wish I'd have give music a proper go.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like there's definitely times where I like when I've ended up getting sacked from job because I've like took a gig rather than work shifts. But like I've just always had that mindset of like that's what I want to do. So I don't want to like look back and think, oh, wish I'd have give that a proper go.
Yeah, instead of just doing. What did you say to Leah that you were doing? Plumbing.
Yeah. I've never been a plumber like, but yeah, that was my mindset on things anyway. What about you?
Same, yeah. I just had a really great bass teacher, really, who was like into all like his like proper like funk like tunes and that. So like from him, I just learned how to like, because he was just in cover bands like his whole life, and he sort of gave me that lesson of like fucking like he'd been in the shoes that I'd been in and it managed to go wrong. So like just keep doing the best that you can in hope that you do get to the point that you want to be at instead of just like just pissing it down the drain.
What is the point you want to be at? Like, what is success?
As far as it'll go.
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to be playing like the big gigs. Going to Glasgow for me, like the first time, was like proper like eye opener of like that's what I wanted to do. So I think playing Glasgow would be like
I was meant to be on my birthday this year.
Yeah,
heavy.
we're meant to be doing that this year, unfortunately. But yeah, like I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to do the big gigs and all stuff like that. As long as it's like just a job and like I can like live off being a musician, then I'm not particularly arsed. Like, but yeah, you want to
I'm
be playing
not
the
gonna
big
say no to.
yeah, but yeah, you want to be doing the big gigs, don't you?
Yeah.
What's the biggest crowd you've been played to so far?
The biggest headline show we done was that London one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was.
Was Liverpool bigger than that?
I think that Liverpool was 500, the Dome was 550.
Oh, was
I think
it?
it was
Yeah.
like just that little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think our biggest headline show was 550, but then we've got the O2 next year, which is about 1,000, isn't
It's
it?
like I think it's like 1,200, which is a bit.
Didn't know
it's
it was
surreal.
that big.
Yeah, something like that anyway. But yeah, that'll be the biggest gig we'll have done.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We've done like support shows and stuff for like all the people, but I wouldn't be able to tell you how many people were there, if you get what I mean, while we were on.
Yeah.
But biggest venue would have been Brixton Academy in London, I think, which was with the Amazons, and I think we done one with Miles K in there as well. I think that holds like 5k in total, but they were not there. They're all there.
Must be a mad feeling that like knowing like 550 people coming to Liverpool to like see you and that. Do you know what I mean?
It is.
Yeah.
Again, it's like that excitement thing, though.
Yeah.
It's like it just gets you so like pumped up. And
Yeah. Therefore, it's weird. It is weird, like that many people are asked about the band you're playing in. Like I said before, I'm not really used to people. I'm used to like having to ask people to buy tickets. So like, it's weird. Like when that talk went on sale the other day, all these people that I've like hounded for months and the years, in fact, trying to get them to like my old band's gigs. They were like, "Oh, I've just got tickets." Like, where were you when I fucking couldn't sell out 200 capacity venue? Yeah, it is mad, like, but it's cool.
You mentioned before you're rider. What do you get on that? Usually.
alcohol and crisps.
Yeah, basically, it's just beers, whiskey, which is like the main priority.
Yeah.
There was one date actually that we didn't get a bottle of whiskey. Me and Callum like missioned for ages trying to find a fucking bottle of whiskey. But yeah, it's mainly just booze.
Yeah, no, it's just like little snacks.
Yeah, like ham and
shit. Make a few butties and that, like crisps, a few dips.
Yeah, it's nothing too mad. Yeah, Hopefully
Yeah.
we can get massive.
This is like that tour that Paul was on was the first time that we actually got the riders that we asked for, like ever. Normally it was just create a beer, and like that was it.
Yeah.
But
I just want to get massive so we can get quite creative with the rides and just ask for, like,
Dubs.
yeah, people like to like get like cardboard cutouts of like weird wrestlers and shit like that. I think Miles Kane does that or something like that. I can't remember who it was, but yeah, just get weird shit on. Just
Every time we walk into a venue, there has to be like Triple H's thing.
yeah,
Has to be
something
on the
strange like that. Yeah.
What'd you say the weirdest thing you've seen at a gig is?
Someone proposed to Leah at the London gig.
That was weird, actually.
That
Yeah,
was
I
weird.
completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a strange one.
I don't know
We were because she does a tune on her own, and she just went out and like there was this fella like that. And I was like, what the fuck's he doing? And then like,
I done a pub quiz with him during lockdown.
did you? Yeah.
Yeah, him and his mates.
What's his name? He always pops up on the Instagram. Anyway, but yeah, someone had proposed to Leah. That was quite unusual.
Mid-set.
Yeah, mid-set.
Yeah.
I was wondering what you were gonna say then. but yeah, that was strange. Can't really think of anything else, to be honest.
I remember leaving one of the Amazon show. Was it? Yeah, one of the Amazon shows, and we were just like packing up the car and that. We just looked to like the right, and there was just like this massive straightener going on with like this fella, his missus, and the bouncers. But like to the point where like she was getting like fully like tackled and shit by all these bouncers, and I was like, right, it's time to leave wherever we were. Bournemouth, that's where it was.
Obviously.
Anything that you don't like about the industry?
Yeah.
You don't have to
fucking hell.
name any like names or anything like.
I just don't like the whole, you know, like just chat about, you know, when people like all these. I've worked with like, not in this band, but like in like back in the day of like people who were like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this, and then it just never happens. Just all that stuff. I hate social media as well. All that stuff does me head in. But
Yeah, you like
yeah, it's just
really don't enjoy photo shoots.
nah,
and-
just not for me. That I always say, like, if it was down to me, we'd be like the gorillas, and everyone would have like a character. So like you wouldn't need to get your photos taken. That's just because I'm stubborn though. I'm just like, if you're into the music, then you shouldn't be asked what people look like. But it doesn't work like that, unfortunately. But yeah, it's more just like encountering people who are just up their own arse. That's the stuff that I don't particularly like. But I suppose we've got quite good people around us.
Yeah,
we all get on.
We're,
So
we're doing good on that front. We haven't really, for the time, at least for people working around us, we've been really lucky in that front because like I've met other people around them, and it's no.
But yeah, I can't really think of anything.
um,
Some people say like the travelling and that, but I don't mind that. I don't
yeah.
mind it just because like you can just throw it.
You get used to it.
Yeah, you just
really do,
throw
like-
your headphones on, or like Leah's always in control of the tunes, and
4-hour drive is now like
yeah, it's
a
sound.
walk in the park.
Yeah.
It's,
I don't really mind all that. I suppose maybe like the like having to live on meal deals and shit like that.
yeah,
it's not
that's
the
that's
best.
a bit of a pain in the ass.
And like when you come up home after the tour, you're a bit like
I just eat
feel.
so much
you
when I
just
get
feel
back,
horrible,
like
but-
instantly. I just get in and just make like the biggest scream I've ever had.
But yeah, it's quite lucky really. Like with I pretty much enjoy all sides of it. I don't even mind doing stuff like this either, really.
I love doing like stuff like this. It's like I'm trying to think of stuff like, just like the misconception about the money that you make's a bit annoying.
Yeah. That is
Like 'cause-
everyone is skint. Like
Yeah.
as soon as people
Literally
realise
everyone
that
is skint.
everyone is skint. Even people who are like smashing
yeah,
it.
like big, like they're not like they will still have little jobs on the side, and yeah, it's a lot more of a tougher world than it's made out to be. It's
Yeah.
not all private jets and champagne. It's more
Yet.
Renault Clios and crisps.
Then that's the whole social media thing though, isn't it? Because you can post about like how just everything's good, isn't it, on social media? No one's seeing the
Yeah.
side where, as you just said, you're living off meal deals and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've got to try and make it look as fun and as
Yeah.
Yeah, that just annoys me, and it's just like
yeah, because sometimes you'll be like just wanting to go to sleep, be in your own bed, and just like that you're starving, and then like you've got to do a little live video in the van.
Yeah.
You got to be like, hi,
It's just all like the get content and stuff like that. There's like it just winds me up. I just don't like getting filmed either. I don't like getting filmed now, but like
you are great content for that though, because of how much you hate being like randomly filmed.
Maybe I should just pretend I really enjoy it and then I'll just get left alone. But,
Like that whole recording week, Leo was just filming you.
Yeah,
non-stop.
and eventually I'm just like, fuck off. But yeah, that's my thing that I don't enjoy of it. But
Do you stay in hotels or do you stay on like a tour bus while you're touring?
Normally head home.
sometimes it depends where you are. Like there was like when we went to London, we stayed over, and like the ones that are pretty far away, you get a little travel lodge. You know,
Yeah, I've
Classy.
gone straight home from Brighton before after a gig. That was 7.5 hours. Like I think it wasn't too bad though, because we'd stayed somewhere the night before. I think we had 2 festivals like on the bounce. Oh yeah, one of them was where was it? It's Ramsgate, like right at the bottom of the country. Like you look and it's just sea. Like it's just like there's nothing like left of the country, and then we had to go to Brighton, but driving straight home from that was tough. But yeah, for a lot of time though, it's all straight home. Luckily, we're now at the point where the fees can pay for hotels and
I
stuff.
remember on the last tour though, we did Glasgow and then drove home because we had Manchester the day after. I remember just being ruined. It's not that far, but it's just like could have done with a little travel lodge.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully on the next tour we'll be in the Hiltons.
You got any more questions before we wrap it up?
Yeah, we always ask, what's your favourite pint?
We actually discuss this quite often, don't we?
Yeah. And it always like seems to be a different answer.
Every time, yeah.
Um,
I used to work in a pub on the Penny Lane Wine Bar, and used to have Beck's on draft, and that was always like, compared to like the bottle, I always enjoyed a pint of Beck's, but I'd choose a pint of Guinness over most things, but not in the summer because it's like sweaty, you know.
Have you ever had Pilsner Urquell? It's like this Czechoslovakian Pilsner. It's heavy. Like it's so nice. But like I don't think I've never seen it like in pubs or not and like that.
Yeah.
I've only ever seen it in Tesco, and, like Asda and that, and like
The red-
them big like 500ml bottles.
The red Peronis as well, you know, the red bottles of Peroni, they're
yeah.
good as well. We could discuss this for like some time.
Yeah. We just end up going through every lager though, and just being like, yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. I quite like a bottle of Corona. It's a bit bland,
Yeah,
but
to be fair, I had one on draft a few days ago.
did you? Yeah?
And it was lovely.
yeah.
So-
Corona on draft.
Yeah.
Where was that?
Where was that?
The James Atherton
Oh really?
on
Yeah.
on that Vicky Road in New Brighton. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds pretty pleasant. Yeah, pint of Guinness for me. That's mine.
Yeah, you, Leah, and Callum actually, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
always.
I'm the only one who's not really.
Paul Mahone's on Shield Street is the best pint of Guinness you can get if any of you are a
I
fan.
don't know if it's like a band thing.
Yeah,
Everyone's
must be.
most bands, at least one person said the favourite pint's Guinness.
Yeah, I genuinely, it sounds a bit gimpy, but when I used to work in the pub, I used to just think people were cool who drank Guinness, so I can't like force myself to like it.
Yeah.
Because but now I'm
You
like,
edgy bastard.
yeah, it's like genuinely. At first I was like, that's horrible, but I just kind of like force myself to like it. Yeah, that's it's my favourite pint. Like,
Yeah, so thanks for that, boys.
No, thank you
Thanks
for having us.
Thanks for
Yeah.
having us.
First
Um,
podcast went well.
If you want to find them on social media, it's at the Mysterines, and that episode is normal, sponsored by the Football Kit Factory.